Hi guys, this is I'm Stuck, and today we are looking at the Weimar Republic under Stresemann. Now, Gustav Stresemann took over the Germany in 1923, and today we're going to look at the successes or failures of his Germany. Now, as you may know, after World War One, Germany were at a time of bad economy and they were a bit of a mess. However, Stresemann did come in and he did shore things up and make Germany a strong country again. And we'll look at first the successes to the economy. And in 1928, Germany were able to reach the same levels of production as before the war. Wages for industrial workers rose, government were able to increase welfare benefits. Now there was also the Dawes Plan, which meant that 800 million marks were loaned to Germany, and then this money was spent on public works like swimming pools and facilities, and this created jobs. Stresemann also changed the currency, which helped the economy, because obviously in 1923 and 1922 and from that area there was a hyperinflation in Germany, which meant that the mark was basically worthless. However, he changed the currency to make it a lot stronger. And finally, in 1928, Germany was the second greatest industrial power after the US. Now, Stresemann also helped change the culture. Now, in the Kaiser's time, there was strict censorship. However, Stresemann allowed free expression of ideas. Now, it was a time where writers and poets were very successful, and artists changed the style and tried to represent the reality of everyday life. So things came a lot more real, and it wasn't censored anymore, and people could express their views more. The cinema was also very popular, and Berlin became famous for its liberating nightlife. And in 1927, there were 900 dance bands in Berlin. So it became a bit of a party area, and people wanted to visit it again. Now, then we go into politics, which was again, he made it a lot stronger. Because after 1923, there was no attempted revolutions. The last revolution was the Munich Putsch with the Nazis, and that was in 1923. This meant that the politics was starting to become more stable. Now, many of the parties who had cooperated in the revolutions of 1919, like the Socialists, also started to cooperate. And in general, all parties worked well with each other in the years between 1924 to 1929. Now, the parties who supported Weimar also did very well in these years after Stresemann was appointed. Now, foreign policy is also the last success I will talk about before we go into failures. And in 1925, Stresemann signed the Locarno Treaties. And this is when the French had to agree on a border and Germany were able to join the League of Nations. Now, Stresemann attempted to reverse the Treaty of Versailles as well, which was the starting of the complete reversion of the Treaty of Versailles. Now, unfortunately, though, by 1929, when Stresemann died of a stroke, but he had negotiated the Young Plan, which lightened the reparations and removed British, French and Belgian troops from Rhineland. So he had started to do all of this about reversing the Treaty of Versailles. Germany had joined the League of Nations before they were removed in 1933 by, you probably guessed, Hitler when he came Chancellor. But he had done a lot before he died in 1929 to reverse and to get Germany into a good place again. However, Germany wasn't perfect, and that is what we will talk about now, as they did have many failures. Now, firstly, we'll talk about the economy again, and we'll go in the same order. And the problem with the economy was that the US loans could be called in at short notice, which could cause ruin in Germany. Now, although he had managed to solve a little bit of unemployment, there was still 6% of the working class unemployed in 1928. And the main losers were the peasant farmers, who had no demand for food, because in World War One, obviously they had loads of demand for food, so they had to make it. However, now they were overproducing, and the middle class were also did not benefit from Stresemann. And finally, many small businesses were taken over by big department stores, which is obviously a shame for many small businesses. Now I'll talk about culture. And in villages, there are many American immigrants and Jewish artists and musicians, and this led to a moral decline as people worried about the culture of the country. And there were also organisations like Wandervogel, who wanted to return to simple country values with more help in the countryside instead of the towns, because things changed from a very country life into a town and party life, and some people did not like this and wanted to go back to this country life they used to live. Now, although there was a stability in politics, there were some problems, with both Nazis and communists were up on the uprise and building up their parties. Furthermore, there were still 4 different chancellors, which made it a little bit difficult, and around 30% of the votes went to parties opposed to the Republic. Also, the Nationalistic Party and the Nazis began to collaborate, and Germany elected Hindenburg as president in 1926. However, he was opposed to democracy, which was a problem, although he didn't do too much. Now, finally, we'll talk about the foreign policy, and this is basically about the League of Nations and the Treaty of Versailles, as nationalists were annoyed at Stresemann for joining the League of Nations, because they thought that they had accepted the Treaty of Versailles, and one of the main things what Germans didn't like is they did not like having to take the blame for the war, because they believed that there was nothing to do with the war. So when Stresemann joined the League of Nations, they thought that they were simply giving in to the Treaty of Versailles and admitting that they had been at fault for the war, even though other countries, especially people like Austria-Hungary, were actually just as fault, or maybe even more at fault for Germany than the war. Anyway, I hope you've understood all this video and enjoyed it, and please can you subscribe to this channel and give this video a like, and I'll see you soon. Bye.